Okie the dokie.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Stuart. Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? What are the odds?
Apparently pretty damn good. Although we did predict it by saying blatantly we're going to be chatting once again tonight. How are you doing anyway?
Not bad, not bad.
Good.
Yes.
And that's why it was really zoomed in, because I accidentally slid it on a full zoom in.
Ah.
That's why. You idiot. You absolute idiot. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So what are we talking about today, Stuart?
I don't know. What are we talking about today? Star Trek Picard post-Nemesis costumes from the comic, the Countdown prequel comic to Picard, which is very likely not anything even canon. But that's okay.
I mean, I've already heard someone say as a retort to the Enterprise F that they confirmed it's canon, and all I could help with thinking was they said the last Countdown was canon, but Data's in that, and are they really gonna make that plot Data's plot? Otherwise, that's locked into one story, isn't it?
Yeah, because Data was captain of the Enterprise in that Countdown comic,
and it was still the E, and that was, that was after this actually, I think, and they were in the different uniform. See what I mean? So canon and canon. Let's not take it as full on canon, because they can change whatever they want until the last minute.
Until they decide to, yeah, exactly.
I mean, as we said, that there was the book, the first, and they were impressed the first time Michael Burnham gets to see Spock in one of the books, one of the first books, and it was canon. They said this is absolutely official. We approve this, and then it was decanonized within 1 year because they actually said, "Well, damn, we actually do have to show Spock now. We're not going to use their thing."
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit embarrassing, really, but it's all good. It's all good. Maybe, don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So,
and
I love how the comic also says it's like 32 pages, but it's like 26 of the actual story, then a couple pages of posters, and then a prequel, or not a prequel, but like a glimpse at another comic. It's like, really? Stop doing that.
Yeah. And Starlo Crickets 88 says Alpha and Beta canon, but there isn't. There's just canon, and then there's stuff that is said but isn't canon that is still sort of official. So it's beta canon, but it's not canon. It's it's still just not canon. It's like we don't take the games as canon. We don't think the Akira can really fire a bolt of red light that bounces off Borg cubes.
Hey, that's an awesome.
It really is.
That's awesome. I forget what it's called, but I like the Corbomite thing that the Enterprise E or the Sovereign class has in that game.
Yes.
It's a shielding system that deflects everything back at whoever's firing.
And I love that it has a clone maneuver. I mean, how cool is that? It can just split itself, and they both fire, and for some reason they both have a actual damage percentage. It's like, what? What? Why is that a thing? It's hollow weapons, I guess.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? But yeah, what was this? So you read this comic. It was part of your subscription service, I believe you said.
Well, yeah, not really subscription. I had to order it, but yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And what was the comic about then? For those that have not read the brand new comic, we are going to talk about it on Saturdays, but our Drunk Live. But I just want to hear. I'll read it then, and we can talk about it then.
I don't want to give anything away. So it's about the events of Picard before he retired. He was an admiral. That's all I'll say. I don't want to say too much.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have read it, and we will talk about it on Saturdays. So, is the Star Trek Transformers No, it is not.
Or the Star Trek and Planet of the Apes crossover, or Doctor Who,
or the X-Men.
Oh, the X-Men.
Or Green Lantern.
Yeah. It's tricky. That's why it's hard to. It's tricky. It would have been kind of cool if they'd done a comic book, but it was actually doing it was using photoshopped stills, meaning they actually put Picard and this actress in these costumes, actually took stills of them in different locations, and then put that into a motion, not emotional, but a comic. So it's kind of it's canon because it's using live action. It's not live action, but it's live stills to tell a story. That'd be kind of
the new Voyages comic that basically
Yeah.
uses screen caps from TOS and just tells a new
Yeah.
story, which is a great idea. It really is.
Yeah,
But
it's funny that. But today we are going to look at specifically, and I do also want to cover the Enterprise J a little bit because it's quite cool. Although, like I said, we're going to do maybe like a full review, full chat about this whole thing when we get to Saturday because we can have a nice chill time to discuss. So I've got two of the. Oh no, wait! I should obviously share, shouldn't I? Duh.
probably.
Sorry, I
Share
can't
this
have
shit.
myself there. Right, 1 second.
That's fine. So yeah, guys, he's going to share this. So you know the routine. Super chats are great. They help the channel. They help us keep this thing going. And if you guys want to help out, you can definitely super chat, get your comment read, your question answered, and it shows up nice and pretty on the screen so everybody can see it. And there's other ways to help us as well. Our Patreon is kind of kicking into the next level of whatever we're doing. So if you are interested in that, right now everything's available at the $1 level, but as of January we'll be bumping that up a little bit, probably to the $5-10 level depending on what the perks are going to be. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, by all means check that out as well. And yes, Jeff just put in a link for PayPal. PayPal is another great way to help us if you want to do that. One of the I actually have a PayPal too. We just came in. So Fleet, well, I'll read it when he goes back. But yeah, all the links to the relative stuff is down below in the description. You can save yourself money on Eaglemoss ships. You can get some Trekyards merchandise at Teespring. Christmas is coming up, so if you want anything from the Teespring store, share it with a loved one that might get it for you. That'd be awesome. There's a lot of cool Trekyards stuff in there, so check it out. So all those links are down below. They're in the description of every video. And if you can help us, please do. But just showing up, liking the video, sharing the video, and just being here, part of the community, is very helpful as well. 67 of you watching. Make sure everyone hits like. Let's get those likes up to at least 50 right away. And yeah, if anybody feels the need or the urgency or the desire to super chat, please do so. It does help, like I said. So, but anyway, so we should probably be getting into this now. Yeah, we'll start out. We did get a PayPal from Fleet Paw Swiftback. Hey, Sam and Stuart. It's Tyler. Wishing you and everyone a great day on American Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for our Trekyards family and wish everyone well into 2020. Can't wait for Star Trek Picard either. Well, thank you very much, Tyler. Much appreciated.
Yes, happy Turkey Day. One of the Turkey Days to all Americans out there, as we have many. It's just another day for me.
Yeah.
Do you do anything festive today, Stuart, to have a festive spirit as your neighbours with the festive people?
No.
There we go.
No.
On to the comic panels. So I have this picture. It includes both iterations of the costume, and also this is the costume we saw in person, which actually I'll bring up as well, because our opinions did change a bit once we saw it in person. Do you want to briefly talk about that experience again for a second? Because it's kind of surreal to actually say, oh yeah, we saw that comic costume in person. That's a bit weird, but we did. And together in the UK. Yay.
Yeah, Destination Birmingham, they had it.
Sorry, what?
We actually did Birmingham. That's what I said. Anyway, we did a few lives on it while we were there, actually, and yeah, it was cool to see in person. It actually looked better than the photos we saw before we actually saw it in person. But I thought we've got a long live talking about it, so if you want our thoughts on that, go back and check that out. But yeah, it was really cool to see it in, up close and personal, get some close-ups of the fabric and the way it's put together. It actually looks really good in person. So yeah, there you go.
And someone had a great comment. Gareth Fairclough, did anyone hear that Al Riviera, one of the head devs at Cryptic Studios, started on Twitter, basically saying canon doesn't matter? And I did find that. Yeah, Al Riviera, 5 hours ago, canon is like gender. It isn't binary, it's fluid. So one of the leads of Stowe, who basically worked on it since the start, says canon is fluid.
Hmm. Well, with the multiverse and we see parallels, yeah, absolutely it is.
So if canon is fluid, then doesn't matter what anyone does for anything because anything can change. Who cares? So
Hmm.
it's the wrong com badge. This should be the TOS com badge from Beyond because canon's fluid and doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
Hmm. I mean, it's probably just. I hope it just means his own game. Like the Stowe canon is fluid because they've got this massive continuity. Oh shit, both of us. Massive continuity of like how the F and stuff, the Odyssey class was made, how many
Hmm.
years, but visual canon they can continue maybe and say, hey, we like the F, we're nicking it, and they say, great, we're going to alter when it was built now, ha 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 ha, because that's kind of different.
Mm.
I mean, does that matter
Doesn't
too much?
yeah. Tizangari says canon doesn't matter anymore. They fly now. Yeah, but that's the future of the franchise that we haven't seen. So I have no issue with the flying.
They
But
fly now. What?
really, you haven't seen the clip from Rise of Skywalker?
No, avoid. Why do I watch more clips?
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I don't agree with. Well, for the Star Trek Online continuity, I do agree with the fluidity thing. But
Yeah.
as for prime timeline, no, it should be. There's a prime timeline canon, then there's other multiple verse canons, whatever. Fine with that, I guess.
Otherwise, all the encyclopedias, all the what's the point in Eagle Moss making a manual on the Enterprise D? There's no point in doing it if they can just change canon as they like, as in well, they can always change it as they like, but just between things.
Mm-hmm. Gareth says, so long timeline, I think it's okay, but just going and saying, oh, it's fluid and doesn't matter, then we might just as well give up on Trek as a whole. And I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think some of the stuff we see in the comic is not going to be confirmed on screen canon at all. So, but that's just my take on it.
It's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
But Gmon,
so yeah, I mean, and
Gmon though, Gmon.
Gmon, we have a super chat with £2. Thank you very much. Loving the blue deflector in Avalon, Samuel. Great.
Thank you. It wasn't difficult, and for the next one, will be even more changes than the last one in the series. Episode 4, it'll have a whole new pieces and bobs, and you'll see my version of a modernized TOS refitted update TOS. Yeah.
And Clark says, when did the Captain Data comic come out? That was the Countdown comic leading up to the 2009 movie. It was a 4-parter. So yes.
A decade ago.
Yeah.
And that had Geordie as well, who designed the jellyfish and stuff. But yes, right, this costume was better in person, had a better vibe. And to summarize, one of the things we said, you liked the stripes down the front more than I did. I thought they looked okay, but they were one of the first things you remove.
Mm-hmm.
And we also said either fill in the black or take out the gold and change how it looks. But in theory, parts of it we like. And then if I cut back then to this panel, this 2-panel, we see the Picard variant, Picard Admiral's uniform on the right, and several iterations of the non-Admiral version on the left. And what do they do, Stuart?
Don't know. It hasn't cut up yet.
The stuff we said.
Oh, they took the stripes off. Yes, and the gold. Well, that's because the Admiral's uniform is supposed to be different and stand out, which I like.
Yep.
I don't see the weird wonky sleeves on that one, in the comic.
I mean, that'll always change because each person is 2D, and I mean that's. They still look wonky-ish. I mean, they've still got more of a hard line on the shoulder than the other ones do. I feel like. But yeah, what do you think then? If that is the conventional uniform of the post Nemesis, if the fact that we've had this in a physical uniform, implying that Patrick Stewart actually wears it, implying we're going to see these uniforms as well. What do you think then? If this is the official post Nemesis, post Lower Decks uniform?
It's great. It's a cool design. I actually really like it. Even like the Andorians there with kind of like a different style top, goes down a little further. Looks like a skirt, but not really.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way it appears. So
that's a nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're nice. And like I said, even when we did our first live on the actual Admiral's uniform, in the comic, the way it's drawn, it looks a lot sharper, a lot better in the comic than it does in person. But we'll have to see what it looks like on them if we see any flashbacks, which we will, because they had a uniform.
And Johnny Zint says he disagrees with us. This uniform is perfect and the best he's seen.
Okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Strong stance.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it's amazing then if we're getting this uniform, we then had the Lower Decks one, which is obviously a callback to the unused generations, and then we also have the Picard era one. So we're getting 3 new uniforms to sort of plug in the era gaps, all in 2020. That's a lot of uniforms. That's a lot of thought. At least we actually assume thought put in. They might cheap out on a few things, but yeah.
102 people watching. Everybody, make sure you smash that like button. Let's get the likes up. Thank you, Johnny. We appreciate that. He says we rule. And yes, happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there that are celebrating. Have a safe and happy holiday.
Happy, happy, happy. So 2 things in this picture slide to note is that the rank pips are just classic rank pips for the norm, so they haven't changed the wheel there. And it shows you what the back of the uniform looks like, which I don't ever thought I saw the Picard back uniform, because why would we saw the front? So it does actually... What?
I was going to say, we saw some back in the last picture as well, because you saw people walking through the corridor.
Oh,
you saw the back of the uniform, so...
but it's more visible in this one. The fact that there's a kind of a cutout. It kind of, I don't know, looks a bit odd.
I think it looks good, actually.
Yeah, I still don't know if I like the negative space. It feels kind of lackluster still.
Yeah.
Like because if that was the Nemesis material, but the cutout that's where the rank stuff was. If that was the color, it might look weird, but it would look less other weird.
And Fleetpaw, yeah, we already read your PayPal, unless you sent another one, but it's not showing up for me right now. So, and Jeff Jacobs puts in 251. 50 is great. So we hit 50 likes. Awesome. 100 is better. I would agree. Happy Turkey Day. So everybody, if you haven't hit like, please hit like, and make sure you're subscribed as well. So there you go.
Thanks, Johnny Z. If he loves us, and Ray likes uniforms as well. I don't know. They are. I need to see them in person, like as in on screen. Because it would be very cool if they had the flashbacks, like all in one episode. You had the hallucination of Picard, where he's in either TNG or First Contact. You see flashback of him in this uniform. You see him with a crew of contemporary uniform officers in the current version, and then also, like, it'd be fun to have like 4 uniforms in the same episode.
Yeah.
Although the convention's certainly going to spread out in terms of like what uniforms people can choose to wear. And boy, all better than Discovery. All better than Discovery uniform.
Yes, absolutely.
Although jumping.
I didn't have anything to say.
We also just went to Vegas, and we got a sense of we've both been once before. How many Enterprise era uniforms were there in Vegas?
I have no idea. I don't remember seeing many.
Yeah, I mean under a dozen over the 5 days. I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for them specifically.
Well, I mean, they're a big blue jumpsuit. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like there was a couple of Discovery, but it was a few. Enterprise is not one. It's also a big blue jumpsuit. It's not really one that people go for. How many TOS were there?
Lots.
How many TNG were there? / Voyager? Some. More. But
more TNG than Voyager, I'd say. And quite a few Discovery ones as well, unfortunately.
It was the same, like, people, though. They had, like, one uniform. And quite a few Rathacon. That was actually quite a few Rathacon. That was quite nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it'd be nice to have this uniform as well. A bit more colour.
And Raj, no, it probably won't be.
Won't be what?
He's asking if it's been mentioned, if it's canon or not. It's loosely canon until they change it. Let's put it that way. Same with the Countdown for 2009 comic.
Now, Geordie, who is at Utopia Planitia, he is wearing a grey looks to be a grey version with a grey bar as well. That's interesting. Is that just an engineer variant, like a?
Probably. He's there for a specific reason, but I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah.
So he's got a specific assignment. I think there would be some differentiation there in the uniform.
So it kind of works with the grey collar. I do not mind it. I like it. There isn't that many images of him, so I can't really pull from that. Although it looks black, and I think they just don't care about their own in mini continuity. Because in this version, he's got black in the middle, pane, grey in this one, and then grey and black. So they swap in between it anyway.
As we've discussed with comics, it can change from panel to panel as to what's continuity.
Yeah, which is why you can't take it as canon.
No.
And I still don't understand why they have the Delta with the split, like Discovery. I don't understand why. Makes no sense.
Do they? Really?
Well, I mean, it's the future version that we complained about.
on the wall. Gotcha. Yeah,
it's just like, why? Why?
Andrew Sepp puts in $2. A young Picard flashback with James McAvoy. Actually, Tom Hardy said he would want to do a flashback.
Well, so is James McAvoy. Everyone wants to do it.
Yeah.
It would be funny, although he'd have to take a massive pay cut because that's just ridiculous. Any bald actor, but he wasn't bald, so it'd be any actor that's, that looks vaguely like him.
Dan23 says, how do people get a hold of this comic to read it? Go to a comic store, or use your IDW app. If you have it on your iPad or iPhone, you can just download it straight from there. It's available wherever comics are sold.
And Gareth Falklow says it is pretty good, the art of this comic.
It is, yes.
I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty standard. I mean, I've seen this style before. Nothing's really out of the park. I think the likeness of the black lady is pretty good. I could tell it's her, even though I didn't read it yet.
I couldn't tell it was her, but okay.
Because I remember it said that she served with him and that stuff, so I remember that being a thing. I quite like the Romulans as well, how they're represented. The uniforms are reasonably good. The fact that disruptors are just TNG disruptors is like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You did a good thing.
No, it's pretty interesting. It's just part one, though. Obviously, it's to be continued. So not too much is revealed in this one, but it is a good start. There we can see another shot of the back of the uniform, and I really like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It makes the whole uniform feel way more sharp, literally sharp. Like these hard edges. It's not this nice smooth, gentle curves or just shape. It's just like harsh lines.
So I mean, we're gonna see. We're at least gonna see Picard in this uniform because the uniform costume was made. I would assume for some kind of flashback. So I don't know how many others we're going to see. I know that the uniforms that are actually in Picard are a different style altogether, which we've talked about as well. And I'm wondering, like, they've been swapping uniforms quite readily at this point because you get these, you get the lower decks ones, which are canon. They said that in Vegas.
But they said multiple uniforms can exist at the same time, so.
Exactly, yeah.
Basically, them saying, we designed our own ones, but Picard ain't going to use them, so it's fine. So, okay.
Exactly. We're a second contact ship. It's fine. It's different style.
Also, secondary canons for a comic. I mean, as I said to my mum actually the other day, I was like, so is that... If this is we've never really done that with canon, because if that if the comic book, if the animated show is canon, that means every visual thing they have to do has to either be real or look real. Because they say that very flimsy thin tricolor, is it officially canon the one after Nemesis? Of course you're not. It's just a comic. It's just an animated one. But then what else can we ignore? If that's not real, then the ship's real. You know what I mean? But Memory Alpha's going to use them all anyway. It's a dangerous slope.
Yeah,
throwing stuff in.
And Bart Alamu said they're really pushing the Romulans as space elves, the space elf angle. Yeah, they are.
That's
a lot.
Well, I've got this picture on here because, boy, that could be from Lord of the Rings if you take out the Romulans.
Yep. That's exactly what I thought when I saw that comic page.
It's Legolas's mum, and she's talking to Patrick Stewart. Seriously though, that is absurdly Legolasy. Yeah. It's kind of like, really.
And then the Archer guy that's in the actual show
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it sells. Although I like this hair from this lady in this shot.
I do too.
Because it's just pointy within pointy. It's a clever little art choice.
And I love how the Romulans don't look like TNG Romulans necessarily.
Yeah.
I like how the hair kind of covers that. So
it's because there is that in some panels there is like a slight gradation of something there, but it's more just like they extended the eyebrows to give that same impression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at her eyebrows there; they are very long.
Yeah.
But it gives you the face feel, which is a great phrasing. Well, I wonder how much we're going to see of actual Romulan militia. I mean, I really hope they know better than to just ignore all Romulan design aesthetic. Like, actually have, like, several class of Romulan ship that just look like an evolution of Nix and Aderodax. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, actually cool Romulan ships. And you know, uniforms that look like they should. And it'd be nice to have some classic stuff rather than whatever those birds of prey were that were attacking the red planets. It's like, give us at least some sense of classic design, please.
That red planet is likely Mars, as we talked about way previously. Yep. The comic kind of confirms that. But yeah, like I said, we'll talk more about the comic and just in generalities.
Yes.
On Saturday. Today we kind of want to keep it a little focused.
Yeah, but it is weird though, these sorts of events where as soon as I saw this part of the comic I thought, oh great, they got the station right, credit to them. Then I thought, well, of course they did. Why would they use anything else? Why should they get a point for doing what they're meant to do? You know,
because they need a pat on the back when they do things right. We've said that before. Because otherwise they just think, they don't care, we can just do what we want.
Speaking of, then let's talk about the Enterprise F for a minute. Well, not the Enterprise F, I should say. The NCC 970. Really, they're already at 97 by this point. Rick actually said he never wanted to see the 9s.
Yeah, I know.
So we're going to get NCC 100,000 at some point. Whatever. So what do you think then? We see a extremely familiar ship. What do you think?
It's Odyssey class cruiser from STO. As I said, I don't think that's going to translate over into the canon of the series. I just don't. It might be the name of the ship might be referenced, but not. I don't think we'll ever see it on screen. Although it would be very cool to see a Star Trek Online ship actually in one of these series. Whether that'll happen, I don't think so. But I thought it was kind of neat to see. And again, I mean, maybe that's the whole reason that the Star Trek Online guy came out with the fluidity comment, because I'm sure they've been bombarded lately since this comic came out with, hey, are your ships going to be in the show? And they probably know they're not going to be because they haven't been asked or approached about it.
Well, I know that Thomas Maroney said that he helped them with assets, in terms of art assets, to put the ship in the game, put the game ship in the comic. And this is one of those things where as it catches up, we've had this quote unquote complaint before, but the big reveal is the exact same reveal image that Stowe released like 7 years ago. So they just literally just drew over the existing render, and it's like, wow, that was good job, guys, very creative. So, you know, it wasn't much of a bonus. It was just, yep, that's the angle we all know.
Yeah. 113 people watching. Everybody make sure you hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to at least 100. We can do it. And make sure you're subscribed as well. And if you want a super chat, please do, because it really helps us out. This is probably going to be a shorter discussion generally, so if we can get some super chats in, that would be awesome. Because we just, you know.
Yeah, we want to hear what you guys think. I mean, that's part of why we do these, is to get a sense of the online community. It is important.
I love how it's the exact same picture.
Yeah, they are known for nicking. I mean, obviously it's licensed; they can do whatever they want. Even fan art, technically speaking, they can just nick it because it's of their own property. It's like, well, you made the image, but we own the thing you're making the image of. So you're gonna fight us on that, bro?
That's kind of a fine line that there's no real answer for, just because
Well, they
they
do it
own the
enough.
prop. I know. So does Star Wars. But
that was the elephant in the room there.
yeah, that's the creative endeavor, and yeah, that's not an easy cut and dry yes or no answer, unfortunately.
And Star Wars especially is notorious for nicking fan art to the nth degree. I'm trying to work out what I actually like more, which version, because I think I like the game one more. I think. So it's interesting to see what they've kind of subtly changed.
Yeah.
Like the pennant's slightly bigger, and they haven't.
I kind of like the. Well, it's almost exactly the same, but I kind of like the game one more. I think, yeah.
Because they've changed the windows. I mean, that's really the only biggest thing. And the escape pod hatches, I think, are a different shape. Maybe. I don't know. They changed a few things for sure.
And Lizzie says, guys, not completely new, but you got a ship.
Stuart, we got a ship. We got a existing ship.
Which will probably not be in the series, so who cares?
I mean, honestly, I think when Adam Arnold did design this, there was a good concept behind it. It's familiar, yet a little bit different. It's a good looking ship. I think it has some flaws, but all ships have flaws. But I think it sticks enough with the existent canon and new canon stuff. I mean, I would certainly be fine with this. I think their safest bet is to just use it as, well, if we see a Picard flashback, to have him be on the ship, and then it's a nod to the Enterprise F without it, because they wouldn't want to give the Enterprise F. You know, they can only do so many Enterprises before they run out of numbers. You know, especially if we know the J is so far in the future, they only have like 3 Enterprises to play with. So this is the only one they can control if they wanted to. So they're not going to give that to Stowe, are they? So they probably said, okay, we're not going to use your Enterprise F, but we will make Picard's ship an Odyssey class. I mean, that's cool, right? You can't be that pissed with us. And then you get to see it, you know, properly Hero 3D model, and then Eaglemoss can do another version of the Enterprise F, the Picard, or the Odyssey,
Which
the
they
Picard
will.
version, which they will, which is even more detailed. Of course they will. And that'll be like a special. I mean, it's a sexy looking ship. Like, I would, you know, Mark Bell from Star Trek Continues is making a high detail 3D model right now, which I've tempted to have been made for the show a few times. But I wish they'd done more angles of it, like not just the same shots that we always see, in the sense of, you know.
Yeah. Dan is asking if the ship separates in STO. I don't know if it does.
Ooh, Stuart though.
What?
The front view, because they've literally just copied the front view, has a split hull. The back view does not have a split hull. The top view, I should say. So they removed the double neck for the top view.
So yeah, exactly. So it's not even consistent within its own pages.
And you would have thought they could just not include the neck if they were going to take out the double neck, because that's theoretically its most impressive feature. Now I'm pretty sure you can see it has no neck. I mean, I'm going to try and see if I can find a.
Gareth is saying it does. It's just perspective, but
I don't know. Let me find it. Okay, maybe it does. I mean,
I'd say chances are it probably does.
I mean, whoa, because I'm looking at it, and where is the split hull? I mean, I found a sexy picture of it, but it's pretty hard to see either image. That's kind of weird. It's such an optical illusion then, because that's really hard to see. As we do journalism. Oh,
yeah.
Didn't even save. What a poo.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it probably has. I think it probably does have it, but I don't know.
It's like if you know it's not going to be visual canon, then just copy the image. I mean, I'm sure this was rushed out because they had to, you know, design it, build it much earlier, and without even knowing the whole story of Picard, because that's always under lock and key. All right, so let's have a look then. This is what the top of the actual F looks like, or Odyssey. So you tell me how the same or different it looks. And you can tell that version has the split hull. But maybe?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay, they should have shaded that
It's
bit.
just, yeah, it's not shaded at all.
Yeah, it just blends in. But things I kind of like it without the split hull. Like it all blending together is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Again, they've swapped almost what the escape pods. I think the impulse engines aren't even lit. That's funny.
Well, it's not an impulse. So they're off. They're getting maintenance done on them. It's fine. Huh. Johnny Zenith says, I'd like to see some British, German, etc. ship names. Ark, Royal, Hood. Well, there has been a USS Hood in canon.
It got blowed up.
Yep.
Fun times had by all.
And yeah, and Starfleet battles and stuff also have those ship names as well. Even the I can't think of it offhand now. God damn it! It was a World War II ship. But yeah, it's kind of that's side canon, obviously, but still, yeah.
I'm just scrolling through the end images, which, if you recall, I mentioned how the front images didn't look very good. This one of Picard, the stoic one looks pretty good, but this one where he's pressing his communicator, that is an absolutely diabolical Photoshop. Like, it is terrible. The fact they got through is an embarrassment. When I take a look, it should be live now, but it's really embarrassing.
Yep. I mean, he looks angry.
It's just neck is the wrong picture, the shape for his body. And I wonder what I think those fighters at the top are the Romulan fighters that we see in the trailer.
I believe so, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I like the new uniforms. I think they are very stylized, cool. I do actually. I'm kind of, and seeing the comic drawn in the comic looks a lot better than, like we said, in person. So those stripes down, I don't mind that actually. In that picture of Picard standing on the bridge, it looks very crisp. You know what I mean? It looks like nice. It's kind of growing on me, to be honest.
No, I mean it is. It's and I just find it funny that the things I suggested not including were the things that were special about the admirals, which then is fine. The admirals always had odd variants. I would love to know that. I would love to know the behind the scenes of why the negative space, though. I mean, it certainly makes it different to the Voyager one, and it makes it visually different to the one they've done now. But if Picard was if there was like 10 ranks of admiral, and each higher rank you added a new line like Picard's done, but I'm sure by this point he's reasonably like a decent admiral, or is it is he the lowest rank of admiral by choice, and then everyone later gets a much more braids, and then when you get to top tier admiral, it's just filled in with different colours, which I'm assuming might be the case. But it's a big space; you can put a good 7 or 8 lines there. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting because this comic starts and then like the first page or two, and then it goes to 1 year later, and that's when this scene happens. So this is presumably what, like, 14 years ago, 14 years before the show starts. Because if they jump back to a year earlier, and they mention a few other characters as well, which are still in Starfleet. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It'll be a good read. It'll be entertaining, but like I said, I don't know how much of it's going to stick as far as the canon aspect goes, which is fine. It's not required reading by any means, I don't think.
And that's a tricky thing, because some people said at the time, I mean, 09 is a terrible story. Terrible. The villains razor thin. They delete some of the best things, the deleted scenes, the characters are... It's just stupid. But the comic adds a lot to it. Like motivation for the villain. And story. And it's like, if you don't put story into your movie, then you fail the movie. You can't save it in the
Yeah.
comic. It says you're just not that good at movie telling. So that's the problem. This comic can't possibly be the source for the prequel narrative, because otherwise most people won't read it. Even though nowadays, obviously, with digital versions of comics, it's much easier to get. You can't assume most audiences are going to watch it. So are they going to maybe show these scenes even in the live action? Maybe that's the payoff. We're going to see parts of this. Maybe that'll be the Geordie reveal. He gets to be in it for the flashback. He's one of the unrevealed ones.
Well, I think it's always cool when they do like motion comics, where they take comic and add motion and like zoom in on the panels and
then
try
voiceover.
Exactly. It could definitely be like a short trek.
There you go.
I mean,
yeah.
somebody could put it together. It would work.
And Var says, "Look, I didn't say I wasn't returning to audio form. You never asked me that, did you, suckers?"
Yeah. I don't know. I love the motion comics, so I would be fine if they did that, but who knows?
Although, since Anovos is dying a death, we're not going to see Anovos brand these uniforms. They're going to have to find another vendor to do high quality ones.
Oh, we got another PayPal.
Yay.
This one also from Fleet Pilot Stuff Back.
Thank you.
Another $5.
Oh.
He says, those uniforms look pretty cool. I wasn't quite expecting them to look like that, but they definitely look better than all good things or Endgame, in my opinion.
I mean, I like those uniforms. I know you think they're pajamas, and they are, but I still like them for what they are.
I'm not a fan, yeah.
Yes.
These are way better. Way crisper.
Yeah.
Jan 23 says a lot of the TNG movies have better deleted scenes than what we actually get. Yes. Yeah. Hey, Gareth says, hey, Sam, what would you think of Trek movies being of low, medium budget in the future? Do you think the constraints would force more creativity and end up with a better product, or would it hurt instead? I think the limited budget always makes them up their game. Look at all the even-numbered Trek movies are the best ones, and they were the ones that had the least amount of budget. So,
I mean, look at Deadpool. I mean, he took not a lot of budget, made it amazing. Yeah, I think, give him a smaller budget, say make a good piece, absolutely, 100%. I mean, some actors can just steal a scene. Yes, the actors might cost a lot to get, say, one of the legacy people back, but if you give them enough scenes, they certainly earn their money back in terms of quality performances. They're all good at what they do. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that budget tends to go on big CGI explosions. I mean, how much do you think building a CGI city and doing 10 shots of a CGI city with full digital replacement of people? Like, think about how much that chase cost with Khan on the hover thing, and then green screen, digital city, explosion, punching. I mean, that you could sleep through that sequence, and it cost them probably like 2 million. Not really, but you know what I mean. So much money, more than building a set, more than costuming 10 actors. I mean, these things cost a lot. Where obviously it was an olden day time, but Enterprise managed to make space battles per episode on an episodic budget, and 10 years worth of more tech, and you can do a lot with a little if you make them clever and not just think about that Discovery last battle. It was absolutely terrible. Imagine if you took out all the visual noise and just designed a clever strategic battle. You could cut the budget in half, make a better battle, and put the rest of the money into who the hell knows what, something better. I don't know, maybe building a better bridge for the Discovery or whatever. Throw them money. It's also, if you burn money on CGI that's unnecessary, or at least not as clever as it could be, then you have to earn more in profit, which means the value of, is this a successful movie, keeps going up and up and up. If you make a cheap movie like Saw, the first Saw made like 30 times its budget back, because its budget was small, clever, and cheap, and it made a small amount of money compared to bigger movies. But guess what? Because its budget was so low, and they look at movies where they do a 70 million promotional budget, and that now you got to make another 70 million just to break even, and 70 million is a lot, especially if the film's not very good. That's where the new Terminator Resistance game, they didn't have almost any marketing, which means any money they do get, it's easy to whatever. Whereas a Call of Duty might do a massive or they used to do these big viral campaigns with like Channing Tatum and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, that advert probably cost them like 3 million, and now they've got to make that back in revenue for the game. You know, just I mean, that's the thing. Any Trek movie, Trekkies will go see, so you don't even need to market it that much, because especially if it's a really good movie, word of mouth will spread. Trekkies will tell each other, and then you'll make your money back. And then if you start small, build up, you can have a really successful mid-level movie franchise that makes you $80 million profit each movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it really isn't rocket science. But they want to make 100, 200, 300 million profit. You know, every film wants to make the billion of Avengers, because they see that number is now attainable. But it takes quality movie, quality actors, quality story, quality fan base, quality
build up,
zeitgeist, and build up. You know, you can't just do it. They're other, you know.
Yeah.
And once you start ruining it for fans, like Star Wars, Last Jedi was shitty, and then people didn't go to see Solo, and that made that flop, and they put on hold the Star Wars movies because fans responded to one movie with another movie, and it failed. So you know, you can't burn the fans.
Well, same thing happened with Star Trek and Beyond. Because Into Darkness was so bad, nobody watched Beyond, even though Beyond was a superior movie. So, anyway, yeah, I think we're just restricting the budgets a little bit, make things a little bit better, in my opinion. So,
and just use cleverer filmmakers, not filmmakers that'll say, "Oh yes, we'll do all of this in big CGI," and then you say, "Or we don't do that." Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and don't worry, Scottish Trekkie, we are seeing your comments. And Gareth, yes, you too. So there you go. But you know what we're not seeing? We're not seeing 100 likes, nor are we seeing a lot of super chats. So if you guys want to help us out, it would really be appreciated. 46 minutes in, we don't have much more to say about the uniforms.
No.
He does have Data's uniform up there from the Countdown comic.
The other Countdown.
From 2000 before 2009, to show that even though that was in the lead up to the movie, it's not canon. It's kind of been forgotten. So
although it's funny how now I'm looking back, and the old cars is exactly right.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny how they did some things right and some things wrong in that one.
Yeah.
Especially since it was made by the guys that made the movie. It's amazing they use anything from canon. But at least they have the right com badge. It's weird to see them Data just have a silver generic badge. It's like that's not a com badge, mate. What are you doing?
It's even backwards, or it's like mirrored.
Yeah.
Gareth Fairclough throws in £2 super chat. Yes, thank you. I've been kind of late in super chat today, but that's okay. That's okay. It's Thanksgiving. You guys are busy with your families or whatever.
They did turn up though.
Yeah, 118 of you here. We should have 100 likes easily. Come on, hit like.
Yeah, we 7 more and we can go, pretty much. So like.
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys will join us for the Saturday Drunk Trekyards, which will be fun. We'll have some booze. We'll look at this entire comic. We'll talk about some other stuff, bits and bobs. Have some fun. Yeah, no, it'll be fun. And you know, you can support us a drink, which will then help us with our bladders, obviously, and our livers, and support the channel at the end of the month, because we had a bad month, as we've said before. And having like a nice couple of 100 boosts at the end would make a big difference. So if you want to say the super chats for them, please do, because then you can force us to drink, and I might come up with some drinking games for that as well.
And we might have some stuff that we might be looking to get rid of, perhaps, on that Saturday. So if you want some cool stuff for holiday season, whatever, check it out, because there might be some ways to get some stuff.
One thing I like about the Data uniform, I actually like the way they do the rank.
Yeah, I do too.
It's pretty minimalist, and if you take that away, it's very similar to the Picard one that has a little inn. Well, they're not the same; they're all variants of each other. But I kind of like that, and it almost feels like you just like rip it off and put your new rank in, like it's just you know what I mean? The way it's connected.
And 23 keeps asking if we like the Romulans look in the 09 film. I mean, they look like the TNG Klingon or Romulans, so.
Well,
I'm not a huge fan of that look personally, but.
I mean, also they didn't look like Romulans. They were bald guys with Romulan ears.
That guy. Yeah.
I mean, that was they were just bald people with ears. I mean, they were.
It was just.
They didn't feel like
tattoos,
Romulans. They didn't really look like Romulans, really. Yeah.
Yeah, the tattoos are explained in the comics. That's what they do when their family members or whatever, someone close to them dies, they get tattoos to honor them. And
So I guess no one in any of other Trek canon ever had a family member die.
well, it's like Discovery, you know, when the Klingons are at war, they shave their heads.
Except every time they're at war.
Exactly.
It's like that practice abandoned was introduced in late Discovery and just thrown away in late Discovery. It's like, well, great, thanks for the Legacy edition that means nothing.
Yeah, it made us all look stupid, so we decided not to continue the tradition.
It's the well, we really screwed up. We're gonna backtrack and make a stupid argument.
Yeah.
Dear me. But I wonder, it'd be fun actually to go
we
back.
hit 100 likes.
Likes. And 4 minutes left. Good. But it'd be kind of interesting though to go back and because they did say that this Countdown comic is canon. JDP said it's canon to our films. They always said that, and that was obviously Paramount versus CBS. So the Paramount people said it was canon to them. They're very clear about that. So it'd be interesting to go back and read both comics in the same sitting, knowing that each deal with the death of Romulus. See if actually they completely exclude each other, or if they kind of link together, or because obviously one of the guys that helped write it is a guy that's the lead producer of all Star Trek now. So obviously he's not going to necessarily diss all of his stuff.
And Tezangari says the tattoos are normally painted on. Nero and his crew tattooed them permanently because the warning would be for the rest of their lives. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have any of that in the movie. But JJ's not really a story man. He's a visual man. Yeah.
He does some things well.
Oh, visually he's great.
Except for lens flares.
Yeah, how many are going to be in the new Star Wars? I wonder.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is the new Mandalorian as well.
Oh.
I will be doing a live first reaction video then tomorrow evening, and then we'll do our Mandalorian Monday on Monday. How's that? Sounds good.
That sounds great. And probably some more TNG next week. At some point, we're going to start seeing some more content for Picard. Well, I bet we're going to see maybe even like first episode of Picard. Like at the end of that, we'll see the trailer for Lower Decks. Because if they can hype train the hype train, I mean, you might as well get everyone talking and double whammy talking.
It'd be funny if you like hails the ship from lower decks, and a little animated character pops up on his screen. He's talking to him at his desk, and then like,
and he's like,
wait a minute.
He's like, Captain, why have you got your animated filter on? Oh, I just like it. Okay, fair enough. The whole thing is just through the lens of an animated filter.
Jeffrey Jacobs though throws in 269, 100 likes. I knew you could do it. Make it blue. Hashtag make Jeff pay.
Make it blue.
When you hit the like button, it turns blue. So if it's not blue, you did not do. That's Jeff's new thing.
And you need to do.
Do. Yes.
But yeah, I'm just happy the fact that I feel vindicated on the uniform, that I knew the stripe was weird and I was right.
Like the regular ones look great. I do like them.
Yeah. I'm just honestly, I'm more intrigued at this point to see if they do show flashbacks, what the sets they're going to be on. Are they literally going to build part of the Enterprise F Odyssey set, which is what the bridge actually is, and you could tell what it was quite early on, or are they going to do the new design, or blah blah blah, Because everything in Stowe is upscaled heavily, so I wouldn't want to take the interior. I don't think it makes sense with like the scale of the outside. I think it's just a caveat. They don't, because I don't think you fit the bridge into the bridge of any of them. So you've got to shrink it, but then the design will look different. God, but Discovery is huge, so why can't the bridge be huge if it doesn't fit into the bridge dome? Oh, I hope they don't upscale the ships in Picard. Oh my God, do the right thing, Jesus. But the Borg cubes will be like 10 kilometers big. Why? Bigger. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess they have small penises over there. They thought we'll make it bigger again because we have the biggest Borg cube ever. That makes a good show.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Great time for someone to tune in talking about biggest penises ever. 119 of you here. Make sure you hit like before you leave. And if you want a super chat, that'd be great. Wouldn't mind like another, what, 10, 20, 50, 60, $100.
But we'll settle for $5 more if we can. And yes, Lizzie Smith, you have to do that in MMOs because the scale of the characters, they can be huge. And also they did it, they tried not doing that. It's because the camera is positioned that if you actually made it realistic size, the camera would be right next to the person, it wouldn't work, and you can have a free movement camera. So there's real reasons. That's another reason why you can't take it as visual canon, because it's like, so if it's visual canon, then why do you have a Borg bridge officer in full Borg outfit? And why does my bird of prey have 19 gun slots, 3 of which fire from the bridge? It's a game. You know, you can't really take it as canon, because if you start taking anything from Stowe's canon, then you ask, well, could anything be canon? Could, you know, is Belantoris' daughter canon in this version? Is Icheb? You know, all these things. Like, well, they've done all the characters. So you can't do that, you know?
Yeah, and some of those characters might show up in Picard, so
exactly,
it might be contradictory. So
and they've been doing this for like 10 years. So they've been making this universe for a long time, and they've also retconned their own universe a few times.
And Dan23 says apparently there are 3 more Star Trek movies being made. Don't know any more about this. I don't believe that for 5 seconds.
Well,
I'll believe it when I see it, when I see a script, and maybe number 4. Then I'll think, okay, there's going to be another one. I mean, another 3.
He's probably adding to the list of the rumored ones. You know, we're going to get an Academy movie, but I mean, it was a pitch in one meeting. Someone said maybe, and it got leaked. That's not a movie. There's a script for
miniseries.
There's a script for that, but then it got abandoned.
And the Tarantino movie.
There was an idea. He wanted to direct. He had a script, maybe, but it doesn't mean he's actually going to do it. And then Star Trek 4, there's no script, there's no pitch. There's just a guy that wants to do it, who's gone tasked to maybe he can do it. It's like, you know, there are plans.
When we see it, we'll believe it.
They're seriously just trying to get press by saying earliest level stuff, because at least they're not lying, but everyone assumes it means they're more likely to actually happen.
Yeah. Well, Gareth puts in £5 and says, I'd buy that for $1. Is it just me, by the way, or is that Andorian gal an Enterprise style, not a disco style Andorian?
Yeah.
Well, there's various. It's also not a TOS style Andorian. There's probably different style Andorians from different parts of the planet,
which we are not against. I mean, we said that from the start. It's like you can include. I mean, we gave them solutions to the Klingon problem that were much cleverer than they shave their head for war. Wow, really? You messed that up, didn't you? Well, speaking of bridges, here's the Enterprise F bridge they use. As you can see, it is massive. I mean, really kind of ludicrously massive, because all the negative space is like, most of that bridge is not functional. I mean, it reeks of there's no design thought there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that.
Discovery style for sure.
I mean, it's horrible, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a window. Or is there a window behind it?
Oh, there. Oh, wow. That's. Oh, god damn it. There's a effing window behind it.
I'm not super opposed to that. At least it has a view screen in front of it, which can go clear. That'd be fine as long as there's a view screen. Oh my god.
That's how they're going to do what they want. They're going to have a view screen to appease fans, but it's only going to turn on sometimes. The rest of the time they have a bloody window to look out of. Oh, god damn you. Stop screwing with Star Trek and ruining common sense pieces. I mean, Gene would not. Gene, Andrew Probert, they'd all be like, they'd just not roll around their grave because half of them aren't dead, but it's just disappointing, you know?
Yeah.
They don't show the top front. Because, like, the Enterprise, the people in Stowe would never do that. They know better. But you're right, there's actually a window there. And it's a laughable window as well. Stupid. Yeah, it's in the game, Beaclittle. I don't...
But the window?
Scott Shrekky, the Trekyards Odyssey Bridge has 2 levels too. It's not even that big a ship, really. But again, it's more like a cool hub.
Yeah.
again, it's not designed to be a
It does have the
bridge.
stairs behind the captain's chair.
Yeah.
Though, yeah.
Because it's not designed to be a bridge. It's designed to be a play space. You know, with a very specific. Oh god, it's so stupid.
And Tezangari says, I understand why the STO bridges are ballroom sized, but in comics, did the artists look at Stowe and thought, that's how the shows look? Yes, probably.
Or they just,
They were probably given a mandate by CBS. Look, here's a ship you can use. Here's some stuff. Go check out Star Trek Online. It's free. And that's probably what happened.
I mean, honestly, the guy probably Googled Enterprise F and used pictures that he found. I mean, that's it. And I can't seem to find a picture of the view screen of the Enterprise F. So, but yeah, it is very big.
Yeah, it is.
It's an okay design, but it's not really it's a command carrier. It's like a fleet carrier, even though the ship is not big enough to be a fleet carrier per se. Oh, it's weird.
Too much weirdness.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many little bad signs. And obviously now we've been burned a couple of times, so they've lost the benefit of the doubt at this point.
Yep.
They've done more wrong than right for a long time now. I mean, really, you go back to 2009, so they've been doing reasonably bad quality Star Trek for 10 years now. And there's somebody involved that's involved in that. So it's like, well... But, as we always say, wait and see. Can't judge it till we see it. And every mercy we get is a good thing, like the comm badges and stuff. But hey, more Trekyards episodes, and that's always a good thing.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about at some point. So,
yes,
yeah, guys, if you're here, there's 115 of you, which is a great amount of people. So just be aware that Saturday, early afternoon Eastern Standard Time, like 1 or 2 p.m., we're going to be doing a live Trekyards drunk yards thing. We're going to be talking more about this comic specifically, getting into some of the details, and we're also going to have some other cool stuff that we're going to be doing. So if you guys want to join us, please do. We would love to see you guys. I know it's a holiday weekend there, so I'm not sure exactly which days you're off or if you have a long weekend or whatever's going on, but join us if you can.
Yeah, and we'll put the schedule up tomorrow, so you have a good 24 hours time of warning, which will be good. And yeah, come join, have fun, and we'll have some nice shots and drinks, and might even get a nice tasting alcohol. We will see.
And Gareth says, actually, I think I'm on to go fund me perk or whatever. We never did get in touch by email about that. Well, email us. So there.
I was gonna say before we stop, if you're doing booze, you should have a drink of one of those bulldog booze I gave you.
Oh, the pugs.
Yes.
Yeah. That stuff's good, actually. Speaking of, I still owe you for that.
Yeah. How much did I pay for that?
Well, we'll talk about that off screen.
Yeah. I have no memory of that. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for a good week, and thanks for joining in for was it Mandalorian yesterday? No, it was Star Trek yesterday. Also Mandalorian earlier in the week. And we will see you all next week for many more things. Until then, he is Captain Foley.
I am. And Gareth puts in £2 and says, for the good booze fund. Huzzah.
Huzzah,
Thank
huzzah.
you.
And,
bye, guys.
And he is...
I don't need any introduction.
Oh.
Or introduction.
We're doing that, are we?
I'm me. They know who I am. I don't need to announce it.
Then bye, everyone.
Bye.